Now this is the introduction phase. We're actually not even going to get any work done today. I wanted to just make a little introduction because there may be some parts of this that would be interesting. This is an enormous undertaking. We have the parts, actually all the body parts to two Yamaha FZ600s. And it doesn't look like much until you lay it all out on the floor. And you realize this is an enormous job. It's a giant undertaking to do something this big. It's not only going to be the restoration of the parts, a lot of them need body work. Some of them need complete paint. Some all need decals. Some of them have a lot of body work, some just a little. And I didn't get a chance to shoot video tonight because Mark had to leave early. And we just had a session of fixing tabs, which I've done that on video before. We fixed many of the fairing tabs, tried to true up some of the surfaces that are not smooth. Some of the parts Mark replaced on his own. We have some fenders that need to be done, some tail sections, two fairings. Now what Mark did, and this might be interesting, it may be something that you'll be interested in following along with us on this project. Again, an enormous project. Way bigger than doing a normal paint job. What we're going to do is use a whole new brand of paint that we're not familiar with. So we're going to have to learn the characteristics of that paint also. Now, luckily Vlad is going to pick his project up, which will give us a little more workspace because we're totally out of workspace here. In fact, every place you can put something in the shop here, there's parts. It's just an enormous undertaking. And so what I have to do is when we have miles over, I have to take everything off the table, put things on the, everywhere. It just gets to be an enormous thing just shuffling parts around. We hope that's going to get better as the days go by. But let me explain how this project hopefully will evolve. Now luckily Mark already has another set of bodywork that's in reasonably good condition. One of the things we're going to do, the first step of the job, we're going to do all of the bodywork. All of the white. The white on this bike is a pearl white, a two-part base coat and then a pearl coat. So this pearl white now is going to be something we haven't used that paint in many years. And we got a new brand of paint, Sherwin-Williams, instead of the traditional paint, the Fourth Dimension that we're used to using. So that may add a little interest to the project too. But this is a very interesting bike. It's a bike that when it's restored is going to be, I think, a really sharp looking bike. And these bikes really perform well. I know that. Now one of the things that'll help in our restoration is Mark has the original paperwork that came from the factory when you bought the bike, which shows us, well, we don't need to know any of this, but it's going to help us when we lay out the striping, placement of the decals. I don't know which one of these we're going to have to make, which ones are available. We haven't done that research yet. But the interesting part of this bike, it's a bike that was, I think, way ahead of its time. And like my FZ, the FZR that I have, it's going to be a great bike to ride. And of course, Mark being a former club racer, as I guess we all are. We have all of us that go back into that era, Amar and beyond. Well, enough said. This will be a fun bike when we're done with it, even if it's not a fun bike now. Now, Mark's got a ton of money tied up in paint here. He's got, and this is all total match. The white, the base coat, the blue, the mid coat, the red. It's going to be a pretty complex paint job requiring many rolls of masking tape and tin foil. We got a new thinner that we have really never used. We're going to do the clear with the clear that we always use in the shop, at least the last year or so. We've been real happy with that. And what we decided to do, now Mark hasn't done it yet, we're going to get two brand new spray guns, and I'll explain why in 1 second. This is a very specific color that has to be exactly right. Now, he had this custom mixed, and I know from using pearl paint on, and I've done a lot of Harleys that have had real fancy paint, and all the stuff, flip-flops and everything, many years ago. Used to do a lot of it. I know these paints are very, very hard to match unless you paint the whole bike. So basically the whole deal is we're going to paint the whole bike white to start with. Then lay out all the striping. Hopefully get a match on this. Get all the decals in-house. And then finish it off with all the clear coats. But this is going to be pretty challenging. And I know because there's so much body work involved, this is going to be a project that, well, it's going to dominate the shop for I shouldn't say a few weeks, for a while anyway. But we do want to really, this is going to allow us to do some really nice work, I hope. And so I thought tonight, because we really can't start the job tonight, I'd just make a little introduction video of the materials we're going to be using, the parts we're going to be using, and we're going to get brand new spray guns. I'm not going to use used spray guns, because what I'm going to do is put one spray gun for the mid coat, one for the ground coat. The reason for that is I don't want to be cleaning the gun, putting this paint, putting that back and forth. Over the course of the next maybe month, we'll use more money up and thinner cleaning the gun than we will just buying these $10 spray guns. So, and of course, because it's Sherwin-Williams paint, good quality paint, but it's not a material I'm totally familiar with. So what we did, and Mark did it, he got all the spec sheets for this, and I'll read them over, but I don't think there's anything really too involved in that. But it's always good to have the spec sheet anyway. Now we also have two seats here, and we're going to be trying something a little different on these seats. What Mark wants to do is just put a coat of clear. I want to scuff these with 1000 grit and put just a dedicated coat of clear on them, because this is on a bike that he's actually in the process of selling or trading, I'm not sure. But this is one of the ones we want to get that done as soon as possible. But all of these body panels, again, every one of them is going to be a labor of love. And so this will give me a good chance. Once the shop gets clean, I can have, I'm going to need that table for sure. I'm probably going to need the baby's table. I'm going to be moving a lot of stuff around. And I'm trying to think of any other things that would be interesting on this job to let everybody know. And if you're not interested in this kind of stuff, hey, I understand. A lot of people aren't. But when you can do these restorations from parts that are in this rough shape, and at the end of it, he will basically have two complete bikes with brand new bodywork. That you probably can't even buy the panels new, even if you wanted to. And it'll even be better than new, because we're reinforcing all the little brackets and all the little... The fact is, one right here, I had to make... I'll show this on camera when I start doing the body work. I had to make a piece for that. I had to make a piece for one of the other fairing parts. One of the fenders over there needs a lot of little repair work. And the big fairings. But again, because this is a pearlescent color, if this were just painting it white, it'd be 10 times easier. This is a very nice... When this bike shows in the sun, it's going to really look beautiful. So I'm not going to belabor the point anymore, and just to let everybody know, mostly my friends and family, that we're immersed in this project, I guess, for the next couple of weeks, and we'll try to do it in bite-sized segments that you can enjoy watching without making it go into, well, where you don't enjoy it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little introduction, and of course, always, as always, thanks for watching.